Selamat datang di channel West Papua. Ikuti channel ini agar Anda dapat update terbaru dari kami.
And for example, in Wamena, we saw for ourselves, we met with a group of several hundred, mostly unaccompanied minors who had had to flee from their villages, in some cases directly from their school classrooms, as a result of attacks upon their villages in nearby areas of the highlands, and were now being sheltered informally in a church compound in Wamena, and without any support, any humanitarian support from national authorities, Indonesian authorities, and in a context in which there is essentially no access for international humanitarian actors, which I found extraordinary. I can't think of many other cases where there is no international humanitarian access to people in that sort of situation, displaced people who are fleeing from conflict. Not even the International Committee of the Red Cross, the ICRC, has regular access to those territories, which I find absolutely outrageous. And I think it's something that the international community really ought to be pushing for to ensure that Indonesia allows more openness, and in particular for international humanitarian actors to access the populations that are affected by the conflict. Those protests are often the focus and target of very heavy-handed Indonesian military and police responses. And many of the violations, many of the killings, many of the beatings, many of the enforced disappearances that are reported to us take place in the context of that sort of response to such protests. Indeed, there were very, very widespread protests throughout the territory of West Papua, but also elsewhere in Indonesia, about racism, the way in which some of these actions by the Indonesian government seem to be motivated by essentially racist attitudes. One of the other issues that has really mobilized protests is the application of the special autonomy law, which was a special legislation, a special arrangement